Genshin go baby, what's good guys? Yoku here, and I recently released some tier list videos, and one in particular that you can actually watch right up here is going to be talking about how I want to structure tier lists. But in this video, I'm pretty much going to be going over the 4 stars and how I would tier them in my opinion. Now, in this specific scenario, unlike the previous tier list video that I did where I talked about it going from a team-based aspect and what these particular characters would offer for each individual or each pairing, if you will, this one I'm going to be going over the 4 stars and a little bit more of a standard tier list. I hate these colors. Hold on. Okay, so I had to change the colors because ugly, but here we go. Now I'm going to try and do this in a way where, once again, very basic information that anybody can understand without getting super detailed, because then we'll be here for at least an hour. My S tier is something that I will put, like, for what I'm looking at, right? S tier is a tier where they are out of the gate the best. They are, you get your hands on these 4 stars, it's phenomenal. You can go far, you can get carried, whatever terms you want to use, that's what's applied to my S tier here. And I might make an A+ just to kind of differentiate some things here, but for the most part, my S tier, in my opinion, I'm gonna throw Shu Shang up there. I think Shu Shang is easily one of, if not the best 4-star character in the game right now. You properly built this character out, even if you half-ass built this character out, and she's going to be doing a lot of things that 5-star characters should be doing or could do or want to do, but then carry the rest of your team. I think March 7th possibly goes up here as well, especially with Eidolons. But the reason that I think March 7th goes up here is because I think shielding is just broken right now. I don't know if they're going to nerf it. I hope they don't, but if they don't, March 7th is easily in the S tier category. I think Natasha is also going to be in the S tier category. Now, one thing about Natasha that I'm like, honestly, bro, I'm going to put Natasha A+. Hold on. Okay, so the reason I have Natasha in A+ versus her being an S tier is simply because of the fact that if you have shields, something that you may or may not know, depending on if you've kept up with Star Rail or if you've played the game, is that shields kind of override damage. So if I have 50 HP, but my shield covers me for 300 HP or 300 damage, right? That means that I could take 349 worth of damage before actually dying. I could take 300 of the damage and it would just go to my shield and my HP would never get touched. Meaning that if I had max 50 HP, there's no reason for me to heal. I just need another shield. And I think that's what makes shielding so strong in this game. Natasha's great. I love her. She's awesome at healing, especially as a 4-star healer, 4-star character in general. She's phenomenal. But when it comes to the application of shields over heals, at least early game, shields carry you so much further to the point where you just never need to heal. Getting into the Eidolons between the two, March 7th also has an Eidolon. I don't remember if it's E5 or E6, but it's one of her Eidolons actually starts to heal you passively, which is something that Natasha does, but it's when she gives you the shield. So not only do you get a shield, but you also get HP regen behind that shield. I think March 7th has to go in the S tier right alongside Shu Shang for DPS, just for that reason alone. So A+ has to be where Natasha is. Now again, shielding, as I mentioned before, I think Fire MC goes right here. See, right, right under March 7th, bro. I'm good at this game. I think Fire MC goes right here. Shielding is too phenomenal. Being able to shield everybody, not only off your skill, but your ultimate as well, basic attacks. There's a lot of things that Fire MC does to apply the shield to the entire team, which is kind of like a mini Japard in a way, except you don't need ultimate to trigger it. It just works. Now, some people are going to call me crazy for this, but I do think Dan Heng is an A-. Like, he's too strong comparative to the rest of the 4-star units that allow him to do a large amount of quick damage, right? Single target DPS is phenomenal for Dan Heng, being able to slow the enemy, even if a little bit, right? I think it's like 20% that he's able to slow the opponent down, which could make or break some things, right? It won't let Dan Heng go a second turn immediately, but it might let someone, like, let's say you had Dan Heng and Shu Shang and she doesn't have her speed buff yet, or she does and she just needs a little bit more, and you use Dan Heng. Now, well, that 20% negative is going to help Shu Shang go above them, and maybe you can get a kill before your opponent gets to take their turn. So it's little stuff like that. I think Asta, for me personally, is probably going to be in B tier. I understand that a lot of people love Asta, right? They think Asta's S tier. She's great. She's fantastic. I don't think Asta out of the gate is strong, and that is what I'm basing this tier off of, right? Out of the gate, how strong is this character, and then where do their Eidolons place them? So Asta with maxed out Eidolons, which is not something that we're physically able to do right now, would put her somewhere around A-, A+ tier. But as of right now, I think Asta's in B tier. And now we're gonna start getting into some weird, I don't know what I know and I just have opinions kind of territory. So I'll do my best to explain these things. I secretly think Tingyun is A-, but conditionally. Only with specific teams. I don't think she's A- with everyone. I think Tingyun being able to boost, right? Su Shang, for instance, is phenomenal. But if you don't have Su Shang, then she doesn't really help. I think she boosts Dan Heng too, but not by a lot comparatively, but it's great, right? These are awesome things. But if you're boosting physical MC or fire MC, right, or Natasha for whatever reason, then Tingyun doesn't really help in any regard besides the energy consumption or the energy regeneration. So I'm gonna put her here in B tier because she is dependent on whatever your DPS character is, right? Same thing with Asta. Asta is dependent in whatever your DPS character is. The S tiers function on their own. I guess that's something else that I should mention, is that these are solos. They can function on their own. They do their job. They don't need anyone else to do their job. A+, very similar. They do their job. They don't need anyone else to do their job, but they benefit the team in a way to where their job is benefiting / supporting the team. A- Dong Hung is just here because he's not, in my opinion, as vital or strong as these. Of course, when he gets Eidolons, you can throw him up there, but for right now, that's not the case. Sampo, again, I think Sampo is a sleeper. I actually think Sampo is an amazing character. I think once we start getting units, Kafka, then we're gonna see Sampo jump up in terms of usage. But as of right now, there aren't too many characters that are gonna be able to utilize Sampo and what he really wants to take advantage of. I think Hook is B tier. She's great, she's strong, just nothing outstanding about her, nothing subpar about her. She's just a standard character. I think Serval is weak, and that's what keeps her from being up here. Maybe if you tried something with Serval and Sampo, they could work together, but other than that, it's okay. I secretly think Pela is A-. Now, Pela is one of those characters where you need to have other units to depend on the damage, but I think Pela versus Asta, you know what, in fact, I'm actually willing to change my opinion here. If I'm gonna put Pela in A-, then I will put Asta in A-, and because I am OCD like this, I will put them in alphabetical order, but I will put Asta, Dan Heng, and Pela in the same tier. If Pela goes here because of her damage reduction, right, the 20% damage reduction, the ability to reduce their defenses before the battle even starts, I think that's good. I think her ultimate's great. I think her skill is very strong for what it allows. I think Asta is very similar in that regard. So I'll change my opinion there and I'll put them both in the same territory. The last character that I want to tier is Arlen. Arlen is here. Let's make this tier, right? Broken or ass. That's the tier. It's Arlen. This does not mean that he is above every other character. I don't want anyone to think that because I know someone's going to clip this and then take it out. No. Arlen is either broken or ass. And I don't have enough data about Arlen personally to be able to make that decision. I've seen a lot of people talking about Arlen, but not enough people talking about Arlen, if that makes sense. So Arlen is one of those characters where if you're familiar with Genshin Impact, you can think of this as Hu Tao. If you're from my community prior to Star Rail content and you play Tower of Fantasy, you can think of Arlen similar to Qianlong. Both characters sacrificing HP in order to boost their damage up phenomenally, tremendously, right? A large amount of damage from taking their own HP. Arlen is that type of character. The problem comes into how Arlen's kit is worded, what Arlen is allowed or not allowed to do pre-Eidolon, and then post-Eidolon, still really, really weird wording about his kit. So the damage output that Arlen has is a very high ceiling. How to get to that damage output, that's where you get this weird, like he's really good or really bad. He's really bad if it takes too much work to get to that ceiling. If it takes me 20 turns to get to Arlen's ceiling, right, to be able to do that damage, bad character. I don't want to spend 20 turns playing the game. If it takes me 2 turns to get to that ceiling, very good character, phenomenal, amazing, right? Because now he's in that S tier bubble. He can start doing a lot of the damage that he wants to do in 2 turns. Then you get into where you're where she at, Bronya, right? You get into situations where like you can have Bronya and you can speed that process up. So if it takes him 2 turns to set up, well, hey, guess what? I have Bronya on my team. I used the first turn to set up. The second turn came, and now he's ready to go. He's ready to dish out that damage. Technically turn 1, right? It's still my whole turn 1, but it's Arlen's turn 2, if that makes sense. Bailu being able to skip things and give him the HP recovery or extra HP that he would need to then go further beyond plus ultra. You guys see what I'm doing here. Silver Wolf being able to negate and reduce the enemy's defenses even further than what Pela could do. And last will be these 3 characters in C tier here. I think Xing-Chi, I think is how you pronounce the name, but I hate that I'm butchering that, but I apologize. Too much RNG. There's a way to force it, but it's not a 100% thing. It's not an every turn thing. Too much RNG. I'm not a fan. I don't like playing RNG. Even when I play Pokemon, I hate the RNG mechanic when it comes to if I can win based off RNG or not. I hate it. Physical MC is great early game because he's all you have. If you end up pulling Shu Shang for like however you get her and your early game, drop Physical MC. Don't pick him back up until you get Fire MC. That's how I would treat that. If you get Yang Qing, drop Physical MC. Well, you still need some physical stuff, so I guess maybe don't drop him because physical does come in handy for breaking things. So it's really just if you get Shu Shang. If you get Shu Shang, drop Physical MC because she's just the better unit overall. And then lastly is Herta. Too specific. If you want more of an in-depth opinion on Herta, you can watch the previous video that I did talking about the tier list and how they overall fit together. All the characters fit on a team or together. But in short, Herta is just very, very, very specific when it comes to what she wants to do versus what she can do for the team. And C tier doesn't mean she's horrible, right? It doesn't mean that she's bad. It just means that in comparison to the rest of these 4-star units, I just don't see the value in Herta compared to a lot of other characters in the cast, at least from a non-farming perspective. But that's going to be it from me today, guys, in this video. If you did enjoy it or want to share your opinions and talk about that, leave a comment down below. We can engage. Join the Discord. It's a pinned comment down there. And if you want to watch the full tier list video that I did previously, you can check that out somewhere in this bubble post video thing. But without further ado, I can't say my usual outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Smell you later.